Are you tired of farming artifacts every single time? Like, you already know how the cycle works. You get a new character, you start to farm for them, and before it's even fully built, a new character gets released, and now you have to do all the cycle again and again. Well, I have a solution for this, and it's to farm the most generic and versatile artifacts in the game. Because luckily there are many sets that basically every character in the game can use and can perform very well even without their signature ones. That said, let's jump right into the video. So, I will cover every class in the game, starting from the main DPS. The first one is very easy, it's Gladiator's Finale, or any other artifact that gives you a plus 18 attack when it's 2 pieces. And the other 2 pieces can be either another set that gives you plus 18 attack, or even better, 2 pieces of the set of that element. For example, for Hu Tao, it could be 2 pieces Gladiator, 2 pieces Crimson Witch. So you get a plus 18 attack and a plus 25 elemental damage. Like, your character can dish out a lot of damage even without getting a very specific artifact, and you can basically do that on every single main DPS you have. And not only that, but you can do the same to basically every character. Like, the majority of characters needs attack percent, so every character can do very well with just 2 pieces Gladiator and 2 pieces of that element. Now, the reason I really recommend the Gladiator's Finale is because it's a set that you can really easily obtain. Like, every time you defeat a boss or a weekly boss, you will get most likely either Gladiator or Wanderer's Troop. So every time you're farming for a character or defeating your weekly bosses, you will also obtain some pieces of Gladiator, which is very nice because it increases the chances of getting a better one. Now, the only problem is that you can farm for them, but that's not really a problem because there are many others like Shimenawa, and besides you can just get them from the strongbox. Now, for any support, you should always have Noblesse Oblige. Noblesse Oblige has always been one of, if not the best support set ever. With 2 pieces, it increases the elemental burst damage, and with 4 pieces it will increase the attack of all of your party members by 20% for 12 seconds. Now, only a single character in your team should have it because that effect cannot stack, but it's very powerful. Many people use it, for example, on Bennett, but at least one support in your team should always have it. Now, this is a set that you should always have 4 pieces of, because the 4 pieces effect is very powerful, but if you really don't have it, then put 2 pieces Noblesse and 2 pieces Emblem. So energy recharge and elemental burst damage is very nice. And besides, you don't really need very powerful stats for a support. You will need stuff like energy recharge and, for example, HP or attack, so you don't need any kind of crit. It's much easier to obtain them anyway. Remember not to be picky with the substats if you're farming for a support, because they don't really matter, especially the crit value. But now it's time to talk about basically the best artifact in the game. The best set ever made is Emblem of Severed Fate. And what it basically says is that you gain a lot of energy recharge, and the damage of your burst will be increased a lot by your energy recharge. It's the perfect artifact that can be used, of course, on Raiden Shogun even more, but it's perfect for every single sub DPS in the game. Like, every single sub DPS in the game will work perfectly with Emblem. So, doesn't matter the sub DPS, always put Emblem if you have it, because it really works, but if you don't have it, then do as I said before, so 2 pieces Gladiator and 2 pieces of that element. Also, it comes with a bonus because that domain does not only have Emblem, but it also has Shimenawa, which is very powerful at 2 pieces. It's exactly like a Gladiator, but at 4 pieces is also very powerful for so many DPSs. It can be a bit tricky because when you use your skill, if you have a bit of energy, you will lose 15 energy, and the normal, charged and plunging attack will have their damage increased by 50 for 10 seconds. Now, some characters can do pretty well with it. For example, Hu Tao works pretty well, but that's up to you because losing energy is a big problem. However, you don't even need to get the 4 pieces. Like, if you have 2 pieces, it's the equivalent of farming for Gladiator, so it's very nice. Now, for basically every Dendro related team, having Gilded Dreams is a very powerful option. So first of all, you get a plus 80 elemental mastery when it's at 2 pieces, and at 4 pieces you'll get your attack increased by 14 for every member with the same elemental type, and the elemental mastery will increase for every character with a different element. So for example, if you put this on a Dendro character and you have another Dendro character in your team, you will get a plus 14 attack and a plus 100 elemental mastery, which is very nice. So for example, you can put this on Kuki Shinobu or Tainari, but you can also put it on Kave, Toma, and also Nahida. And just like Emblem, there is another very powerful set in that domain, which is Deep Wound Memories, which is basically the better version of Gilded Dreams, but for some characters in particular. For example, Alhaitham uses it, but is also fine with Gilded Dreams, same goes for Tainari or Saino, and also Nahida. So if you're trying to do any Dendro reaction based team, then use the Gilded Dreams and Deepened Memories. Now, for characters that deal a lot of damage by using the skill while being off-field, for example Emily and Fischl, you can use Golden Troop. Every character in the game whose skill works a lot when they are off-field is very powerful with it, because it increases the elemental skill damage by 20 when it's at 2 pieces, by 45 when it's at 4 pieces, and if they are doing this while off-field, then it gets increased up to 70. So for example, Fischl works very well with it, Emily works even better, and like this is exactly what I'm saying, like you don't need to farm for Unfinished Reverie, a set that nobody would use apart from her, or if you're very desperate or trying to do some weird ass challenge, you can put it on Jiangling and make Goba become the god of the stove once again. Like you don't need 4 pieces of a over specific set when you have something like Golden Troop. And also, just like Emblem, Golden Troop also has another artifact that is very powerful. I will never say that name, but when it's at 2 pieces you will get a normal and charge attack damage increased by 15, but at 4 pieces, every time your HP increases or decreases, your crit rate will increase by 12, and you can do it up to 3 times. So in case you don't know, this is perfect for every character from Fontaine. Like I really like this set because it's made for like the entirety of that region, because the majority of characters from Fontaine will lose their HP and they will gain it back in some ways. For example, Arlecchino, Furina, Nuvolet, and also they also spam a lot of normal and charge attacks, so that's very nice. So if you want to farm for any character from Fontaine and you also wanna get some good sub DPS material, then farm the domain with Golden Troop and that name. And lastly, if you have a healer, then you can always put the Ocean Hued Clam. The Ocean Hued Clam is a very powerful set because it increases your healing bonus at 2 pieces, and also it will turn your healer into a damage source. Basically 90% of your healing will turn into damage, so you can heal a lot and you can also deal a lot of damage. In that way your characters will not only be healers, but they will also be able to do something else. For example, it's very good on Kokomi because she can heal, she can trigger a lot of reactions, and at the same time she can also start dealing some damage. But you can also put it on basically every healer in your team. And that is basically it for the video. I made this video just so that you can farm less for artifacts, because it's very annoying that you always have to farm for some sets that are just made for one character, and I really hate that. So I really hope that we will get a new Natlan artifact that is similar to that Fontaine one, so that it works with every Natlan character. But even if we don't, I'm sure you can put Emblem on every Natlan sub DPS, and that you can put 2 pieces Gladiator and 2 pieces of Dead Element on every Natlan character. So if you enjoyed the video, remember to subscribe because it really helps me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!